Welcome back to Callie's Corner. This one is about Tom Hanks. Now, recently in the media, we found out that Tom Hanks and his wife Rita have tested positive for the coronavirus. So I began to think to myself, what would a world without Tom Hanks even be like? His filmography is huge. The thing about Tom Hanks is he's a steady actor. He's not like a method actor like a Daniel Day-Lewis where he completely throws himself into the role. Even roles where he's playing real life figures or he's supposed to be someone in a certain time period, I'm just like, that's Tom Hanks with a wig, or that's Tom Hanks talking with a weird accent. I still see the Tom Hanks. He can't remove me from the fact that he's Tom Hanks. I don't know what it is about him. I'm just like, Tom Hanks, take that hair piece off. You're still Tom Hanks. But as far as other actors go, he's not like somebody like maybe like a Selena Gomez where their depth isn't that deep at all. I like her music, but her acting abilities, she's no Tom Hanks. So I'm going to go ahead with this top 5 best Tom Hanks performances. His movies range from anything from comedies to dramas to anything in between. Since mostly our channel focuses on 90s and 2000s, and that was really the most Tom Hanks movies that I watched, I'm mostly going to focus on that time frame right there. He has some good ones in the 80s like Big, and more recently, he did the Mr. Rogers film, A Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood. That was a great movie. I went and saw that as well. So just because I'm covering 5 movies from this time period in the 90s to the 2000s doesn't mean you shouldn't check out other movies in his filmography because it is vast. My number 5 pick is Forrest Gump. Call me basic if you'd like. Forrest Gump came out in 1994. I'm from Georgia. I have to put it on the list. That's just how it has to be. The movie's filmed in Savannah, Georgia. Basically, Forrest Gump follows the main character, played by Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump, as he fights through wars, goes to college, grows up. Basically, he has special needs, and he goes on to live an extraordinary life. This movie is so quotable. I'm not a huge fan of Tom Hanks' southern accent in this movie, but aside from that, the other performances are pretty good. And you can quote Bubba, you can quote Jenny. It's a memorable movie, it's entertaining, and even though it's on the longer side, it doesn't feel long. So my number 5 pick is Forrest Gump. You definitely need to check that out. My number 4 pick is Castaway. Castaway came out in the year 2000, and it was about a FedEx employee whose plane crashes on an island, and he has to survive. So this movie is one of my favorite Tom Hanks movies because he's very believable in this role to me. He's not trying to be anything else but a guy who's crash landed on an island. So in Castaway, we get the very classic scene with Wilson, where Wilson becomes his best friend on the island, and if you don't know Wilson, he's a ball. Wilson is a ball that he paints a face on. I really just connected with that because I'm like, yeah, if you were on an island for that long, you'd need somebody to talk to. But the Wilson scenes are very memorable. I like the scene where he makes fire and he's like on the island, he grows the long beard and everything. But Castaway's a really good dramatic turn for Tom Hanks, even though some comedic things do happen in the movie. He has to go through all of these emotional beats, and I think Tom Hanks does a really good job not overplaying it in the movie or being too hammy. It's just a genuine type of movie, and like I said, it's got some good comedy, some good drama. You should definitely check out Castaway. Please comment below some of your favorite quotes from Forrest Gump or Castaway. Those are 2 of his biggest films, and we want to hear from y'all. I know my favorite quote from Forrest Gump is Jenny. My number 3 pick is Philadelphia. Philadelphia was a very important film for the time, and it's still very important today. It follows Tom Hanks as a lawyer who contracts HIV, which becomes AIDS. In this movie, he acts against Denzel Washington, and he's also a lawyer that Tom Hanks gets to represent him. In this movie, they both give really good dramatic performances, but it was just such a timely message at the time because 1993 was a really big year for HIV and AIDS advocacy, especially in the gay community. So this is a movie I had never heard of until I went to high school, actually. I took a sociology class there, and this is one of the films we watched. And even though I was watching this in high school, it held up really well. Tom Hanks is very believable as a man who is slowly passing away, but the gist of the movie is he contracts the virus, he works at a law firm, he does everything in his power to hide the fact that he's becoming ill at the law firm, and he eventually is fired because of his disease, which, thanks to the events of this movie and other people in real life who went through these type of court cases, people can't be, hired or fired indiscriminately because of HIV or AIDS. But this movie was kind of the first time in public people talked about that happening. So number 3 is Philadelphia, and it's a very good pick, and you should check it out. My number 2 pick for this list is The Terminal. The Terminal is one of those Tom Hanks movies I feel like isn't well remembered. I don't really hear people talking about it. It was really quirky. It came out in 2004, and it follows Tom Hanks doing another accent. I'm never very happy when he's in a movie doing an accent, but in this case, I will accept it. He is from an Eastern European country. They don't really go into too much more detail than that, and he is in the airport, and basically war breaks out in his country back home. So he ends up staying in the terminal, hence the name. So he can't go back home, he can't leave the airport, so he just stays stuck in the airport. And it's a pretty good character study. Tom Hanks is interesting in the role, and you should definitely check it out because people nowadays are literally stuck in an airport terminal because of the coronavirus. So check out number 2 pick, The Terminal. Before we get to our number 1 pick, I have 2 honorable mentions for this Tom Hanks list. Number 1 of my honorable mentions is Catch Me If You Can. Catch Me If You Can had Tom Hanks in a hat. It's the 1960s. He's chasing down a young Leonardo DiCaprio, who's a con man, based on some real-life events. It's a pretty good film. It's something that I remember coming on reruns a lot on TV. It's one of those movies you are always picking up at different points in the movie, and it won some awards the year it came out as well. Catch Me If You Can, 2002. My second honorable mention for this list is Saving Private Ryan. I saw Saving Private Ryan on cable television, in the classroom. It's still coming on everywhere today. It is a classic. Now, it's not on this list because Tom Hanks is a big part of the movie, but it's more of an ensemble movie with all the characters kind of getting equal time. But it is a memorable performance from Tom Hanks, and it's got a great star-powered cast. It's got a lot of up-and-coming people before they hit it big. So check out that film as well. It's set in World War II, got a lot of action, and it's not one of Tom Hanks' usual type of roles, so I think it's a good one for you to check out. My number 1 pick for the greatest American treasure of all time, Tom Hanks, is the Toy Story franchise. So Toy Story has had 4 movies in the franchise, ranging from the first movie in 1995 to the most recent movie in 2019. I'm going to recommend the whole series because Tom Hanks, he brings Woody to life. He gives such emotional depth to a cowboy doll that sometimes you forget you're just watching a cartoon. But Tom Hanks' voice is a perfect fit for Woody, and I really enjoy the first movie because there wasn't really anything like that at the time, and it put Pixar on the map. So I'm going to put that as his number 1 role. And even if, the corona takes a toll, I feel like Tom Hanks could probably still do Toy Story movies, so we're going to put that one at number 1. Well, thank you for watching this episode of Callie's Corner. That's all the Tom Hanks picks that we have. I'm going to ask you to comment below with your picks and go ahead and put a like on this video. We would love for you to subscribe, see what else we have coming up. If you liked this video, which you made it to the end, I know you did, so please like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and check out this next video on our list. on our channel. Check out our channel.